Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm happy to see all of you back, and today I'm here to present a new line of 3 botanical rustic style junk journals. This time these are clean notebooks, absolutely clean, with almost no decoration inside, almost no embellishments, mostly stamping and natural stuff like plants, paper, recycled paper, natural fabric, and almost no synthetic fiber. So the line is very plain. It's just intended for taking notes. Therefore, I tried not to make the cover too bulky, and I tried to keep it flat. And as you can see, the base of that is cardboard. The cardboard is quite tough but still flexible, and I covered it with different types of handmade recycled paper that I made around a year and a half or 2.5, I just don't remember exactly, ago. All of this paper is made with some seeds, different types of seeds, different types of flowers, and so therefore it has very interesting, I would say, texture. These are 2 different types of handmade paper. The first one with one type of seeds. This one is with some other. Now this one is with thyme. You can see some thyme here, and it's with, as far as I can see, some lavender, probably seeds or flowers, and some leaves from cranberries. Yeah, and sometimes there are some particles of some chips of that I added to give to the texture, to give some more interest, and a couple of metallic brads here and there, imitating the nails, because it's about rustic style, it's about country style, and everything which is quite rough. This is the clover. This is the dried plant that I collected half a year ago, and I sealed it to the cover. It means it can't be moved. You can feel the raised edges, but in fact the flower itself is covered with some texture, with some medium, and then a little bit of paint, shadowing and texturing, so it's safe. It can't be torn or broken, and it won't peel off. It's safe, it's sealed, although it's not glossy, and anyway, it's well preserved. You can see the hand binding, hand stitched and hand bound, and actually this is the fabric usually used for cross stitching, and I had some leftovers, so I used them here for binding. Okay, let's see. As I told, these journals, this line is very plain, but still I tried, because it's mostly supposed and made for writing. It's made of different types of, I tried to combine as many different types of paper with different design as I have. And in fact, there are a lot of interesting, almost antique, I wouldn't call them antique, but they're really, really old things and details, but mostly it's for writing, so it's almost clean. It's almost blank. The only decorations that I used here were, coffee staining, then stamping, and all the stamping is done with distress inks, because I needed the effect of flowing or running watercolor or running textures, running ink preserved from the previous days, so to create this aged effect. So this is the illustration from a botanical book, a Russian botanical book, which is about now more than 30 years old. It's from 1980 something. And this is the page of old Russian English dictionary, English-Russian dictionary as well, very old, just maybe even older than this book. This is the page which is a bit stronger, it's a bit heavier than the rest of the pages inside, because it's like a cover. This is, maybe you remember, it's torn and it's old. Maybe you remember I told in previous videos that I found an old photo album. It's even more than 30 years old, and these are the pages from this photo album, and I kept them just the way they are. So, and different lined paper sheets, different coffee stained paper, and you can see that the edges were splashed or covered with extra liquid coffee in order to create this effect of running edges or older edges. Okay, different notebook pages were coffee dyed and as well stamped here and there, but mostly I preserved it clean. And yes, I used the most grungy, as Sigita called them, pages for this line, because I mean the grungy in terms of being very, very randomly splashed and painted with some licking or with some colors and some inks that ran. Actually, they ran, and you can see here as well some stamping and different types of notebooks and paper. Stamping again. This is the old page from my older days when I worked at university, and these were the individual plans that we were supposed to fill in, and I have a couple of them left since then. Some tracing paper, baking paper, I'm not sure, but still it adds some interest to that. Okay, stamping again. And again. And even more stamping. Some texture paste and some white gesso, sometimes here and there, just to add some interest and the effect of being old. In fact, the effect that I got from covering the edges with extra coffee liquid, or liquid coffee, I like it very much, and this was the first time when I used this this trick, and I guess I will use it with all my Rustic journals now. Okay, this is the end of the first signature with some breath and a small bookmark with wooden beads, and this is the only part which is synthetic, because I from time to time I use some natural thread, but I always feel quite insecure because I know how quickly natural threads go go worn, and synthetic in this case, if it's used quite often, it's more safe, it's more secure. Some stamping on a piece of craft cardstock. I wouldn't call it a cardstock, it's something like, it's heavier than paper, but definitely a little bit lighter than cardstock or chipboard, but still can be used as wrapping for the second cover, for the second signature. And here we are, some more pages, again different types of papers, call them ledger probably. I need to check this word out. So moving on, this one is really tough and rustic. This is another type of, maybe it's like transparent tracing paper. Yeah, it's tracing paper as well. It holds the stamping quite well and the inks as well. And you can see it is also copy stained and quite wrinkled. Anyway, it creates the sound, it creates the effect, and it goes well with the next wrinkled paper. And this page is actually from the same days of my being a university tutor, because this one is from the forms we gave to students during the exams. It's called examination form. They were supposed to write their names and write the answers, or keywords to the answers. Okay, this is the music sheet from, oh, maybe I will see the name of this on the next page. I mean on the second part of this page. Stamping, staining, stamping, and let me see the date. I'm always very interested in that. It's about learning to play music, and there should be some date, I believe. Oh yes, 92. The 22nd of April, 92. Yeah, great. In fact, I like them. They are old, and you don't need to. I didn't dye this. I didn't copy dye this. It's naturally old, and this page turned out to be quite sweet. There's more stamping. Okay, chest paper. Math notebook. This one is tea stained, therefore it's a little bit too white, contrasting the dark color of the rest of the pages, but still it's tea stained, and anyway it like pops out. This is the so-called newspaper paper. They sell it in bulks, and I bought it because it's a little bit grayish, and it still can fit into, to add some arrangement, to add some variety to the whole set of my paper. And the last, third signature, so gesso and a little bit of grunginess here. And the third signature, this one is, this page is watercolor paper, in fact, and nice edges. Okay, this one is also funny stuff. I bought it 2 years ago, and this is like a pile of special forms to complete by tractor, like farm tractor drivers. That's fun, and because I don't know whether they use them on farms now or not, but still it refers to the rustic style and country life and everything directly, and even the look of it is quite obvious. It's like grey, and it doesn't look like a new office paper form. Some more tea-stained pages. And you see I combined different sizes because I think it gives more interest, because I prefer my journals, and the best thing why I have finally stopped at junk journals is just because they are never the same. They are all the time interactive, as they call it, and they are all the time, they add the variety to our life. They allow us to have a lot of different textures, to combine a lot of different tricks. Nothing is wrong with this type of scrapbooking or journal making. Some more stamping, and some of them are medical, by the way, medical plants, or medicinal as they call it. Wow, and one more page, which takes us, well, let me show this, and it finally, not yet, but it will finally take us to the end of the journal. Okay, and here we have the last page, where you still can write or draw with pen or pencil. And and on the pages where you don't have any ink, you can even paint with watercolor, acrylic paint, pastel, probably, if you don't mind using pastel against the usual or unusual textured surface. And the last page, which is actually the last, as well, an illustration from a botanical book. And this is the back side and the spine. So the second journal is exactly like of the same style, but this one is marigold, and I called it marigold. And it's made with a lot of marigold seeds and marigold petals, and you can even see the marigold bud coming through the paper surface. So if you want, you can peel it a little bit off. I mean the upper layer level of the upper layer of the paper, and you will get more flowers here. And as well, this is a very well preserved flower. They are all absolutely dry. They won't get moldy or whatever, and they can't be peeled off. Okay, if you try, you can, but generally, with careful use, they won't go off, because in fact they are also sealed. And a couple of brads imitating the nails. And this time the backside is also made with the help of actually three different types of handmade paper. This is just the same as I used on the cover. This is a different one with, you can see a little bit of lavender seeds, lavender flowers here, and in fact lily petals, not only petals but seed stems, and they come through and they gave the color, and only natural color, even no coffee was needed here. And this one is lilac branch, or lilac, branch, let it be branch, twig, with remnants of flowers. It was, as far as I remember, it was white, yeah. And the paper is nice. I mean, it's unusual. This time, as far as I remember, I used a little bit of ground coffee, but you can hardly see it, some particles of this ground coffee. And a nail. So 3 different textures and types of paper here, and it's fun. And this is just an ordinary piece of cotton cloth. It's really heavy, it's thick, it's not just a usual type of cotton cloth. And anyway, it's great. So all the ideas are the same, all the collection and the paper assortment is just the same, and probably I wouldn't comment so much upon that, because I have already done that with the first one. I'll just run through the whole journal for you to see exactly what kind of pages are there. And here we go. While I'm showing you this journal, I would like to talk a little bit about the second line of journals that is coming, and actually it's gonna be on the one hand absolutely the same, on the other hand it will be definitely different. I mean, absolutely the same in terms of style, in terms of using the assortment of different types of paper, and the paper will be more grungy. It will be not ironed, because here the majority of pages are still ironed, and the paper edges will be torn, and I'm gonna have soft cover for the majority of them, and there will be some more pieces. I'm not too sure when. Okay, one more bead bookmark. I'm not too sure when I get them done and made and filmed and on my Etsy page, but they will come there. And after that, I know actually I have an arrangement And I have a plan, a list of stuff that I want to do. And high point on that list is creating some process videos. It's just to share some tips and tricks, because some of you, though not quite often, but some of you asked me in Facebook, or maybe not of you, but my Facebook friends, they asked about not probably the tutorials. I wouldn't call this stuff tutorial, because, you know, there are so many tutorials on YouTube now that it makes no sense to make another one, unless it's absolutely unique. But I'm not too self-confident and bragging to say it's a tutorial which is absolutely unique. That's why I probably will share some tips on how I make the stuff. The first thing I would like to show is probably, or one of the things I would like to show is probably making a tag. Different types of making tags, and botanical tags, definitely. Maybe a little bit about, just I had a plan, in fact, maybe a little bit about what? Oh yeah, about how to make a shaker. And I have this, like, wait a second, this one, and this is the leftover from the package of my New Year gift. And I will show you how to make a shaker. It's not supposed to be only a New Year shaker, by the way. With snow and glitter and stuff, you can also make it just an ordinary rustic countryside shaker. I'm not too sure which, with seeds or with snow. I'm not too sure which type of shaker I would show. But anyway, so one more album page, and that's the end of the journal with marigold. Meanwhile, I'm going to show the last journal. I don't remember the name of this plant, and you can see it closer. So anyway, this is handmade paper on top, and with tiny black seeds that added perfect brownish effect to the brownish color. And these petals are actually peony petals from my garden, white peony petals. You see, they turn beautifully beige, yellowish beige, and they also add a lot of color and shades to the paper. This is the back side with a different type of handmade paper, lavender. This is the some piece from somewhere else. This is a piece from the leftover of this paper, and this is lavender. It smells perfectly well if you rub the paper. And right now it doesn't smell now, but actually when I was sewing it, it smelled of lavender. And I think that if you rub it quite well, or rub it with your wet finger, you will definitely feel the smell of lavender. I'm not sure how many times you can rub it without ruining, but you can try. And nail imitating brads in the first page. So again, same stuff, same botanical, some running colors, and the imitation of old-aged, probably watercolor paintings, or old-aged stamping or writing or inks which ran due to time span and due to their age. A lot of grungy and absolutely not neat papers. So the style is quite the same, as you can see. Speaking of my plans, I would continue that. Yeah, some probably tutorials, not tutorials, but how-to videos or process videos. And in fact, I cannot do now a bigger project. I mean, start a project and like show all the edges of, all the stages of that, because of, you know, circumstances and extra load of my extra life. I'm not connected with craft. But anyway, I think I will manage a set of tiny, shorter how-to videos. And I have a couple of ideas, but I cannot come up or just recollect them immediately now. What else I wanted to show you, how I do this or that. Anyway, I hope they will be interesting. And if you wonder what kind, and if you want me to share the exact technique that you keep seeing in my journals, and you wonder how this technique is like implemented, you're welcome to write in the comment section. And I hope, even if I don't do it now immediately, because, you know, filming is the last on my list of stuff I'm doing now. But anyway, for sure, 100%, I will put it on my future video list, because I like to-do list. I keep a list of projects where I usually write down the ideas that come up into my mind, but I have more ideas than anything else, as the majority of us, I guess. So we are moving to the end of the book, and you can see all the same stuff and all the same types of paper as in the previous ones. Some of them are really old, some of them are younger, let's say so, but artificially aged or distressed. But all in all, they create kind of a combination and balance, I hope. And this is the last page, and this is it.